Chosen one. You are not hearing this by accident, and you did not arrive at this moment by chance. Heaven itself has aligned this encounter, and perfect spiritual timing has brought you here. Anointed one, there is a reason your spirit was stirred to listen, because you are standing at the edge of a divine shift that has already been authorized in the unseen. Chosen one, there is a moment in Scripture where God speaks and says, "Arise and go, for I have already provided." Not where it looks safe, not where it looks abundant, but where obedience must outrun fear. Just as it is written in 1 Kings chapter 17, God moved his servant from a place that once flowed to a place that made no sense, and in that movement, provision followed obedience. This is not a story about lack. This is a revelation about transition. Anointed one, if the brook that once sustained you has gone quiet, it is not rejection. It is direction. What feels like loss is actually release. What feels like fear is the threshold of supernatural supply. Heaven is not withdrawing. Heaven is repositioning you for a transfer that cannot reach you where you were. Chosen one, sudden elevation does not announce itself with comfort. It announces itself with a call to move. And sometimes God's reminders do not arrive through explanations or loud confirmations, but through something quiet, simple, and steady to return to when strength feels thin. What has been prepared rests gently below, waiting in its own time. Chosen one, there is a moment when you realize that what you have been praying for is not resurrection, but redirection. Many people beg God to breathe life back into a dry brook, not understanding that the drying itself is the signal. Anointed one, some streams are not meant to flow forever. Some places sustain you only for a season, and when that season ends, heaven does not apologize. Heaven calls you forward. Chosen one, I have learned this the hard way. There were seasons in my life where I stayed too long, praying harder instead of listening closer. I asked God to fix what he was clearly finished with. I spiritualized delay, mistaking comfort for obedience. And every time I refused to move, fear disguised itself as wisdom. But the truth is this: God can revive a dry brook, but often he chooses not to, because revival would keep you where you have already outgrown. Anointed one, when God led Elijah to the brook, it was not a mistake. Ravens came, water flowed, provision was supernatural, that place was ordained. But when the ravens stopped and the water dried, God did not explain himself. He spoke one sentence: "Arise and go." That is how heaven signals transition, not with drama, with direction. Chosen one, if something that once sustained you no longer works, it does not mean you failed. It means the assignment shifted. Jobs end, seasons close, relationships change, income streams dry up, and fear immediately tries to interpret that as punishment. But heaven sees it as positioning. God never removes provision without already preparing another source, even if you cannot see it yet. Anointed one, I have watched this pattern repeat again and again. A place that once felt like a miracle slowly becomes a limitation. What once stretched your faith now only maintains you. What once required trust now only requires routine. And routine is comfortable, but it is also dangerous. Because routine can keep you loyal to yesterday, while God is speaking about tomorrow. Chosen one, sometimes we want God to bless what he is asking us to leave. We pray for multiplication in spaces that were only meant for preparation. We ask for overflow in environments designed only for training, and when it does not happen, we panic. But panic is not from heaven. Panic is the sound of fear realizing it no longer controls the future. Anointed one, hear this clearly. The drying brook is not a threat, it is a mercy. If God allowed you to stay where you were comfortable, you would never walk into what requires courage. If the ravens kept coming, Elijah would never meet the widow, and if Elijah never met the widow, the miracle would never multiply beyond him. Chosen one, I want to speak directly to the financial fear you have been carrying. Fear whispers that if you move, you will lose what little you have. Fear says stability is safer than obedience. Fear says wait until it makes sense. But obedience has never required clarity. It only requires trust. God does not give you the full picture because faith is not sight with information. Faith is movement without guarantees. Anointed one, there was a season where I watched provision come from unexpected places. Not abundance, just enough. Just enough to keep going. Just enough to pay what mattered. Just enough to survive. And I remember thinking, this must be the promised land. But God gently showed me that survival is not the same as inheritance. Surviving keeps you alive. Inheritance changes generations. Chosen one, when the brook dries, heaven is not cutting you off. Heaven is calling you up. There is a difference between provision that sustains you and provision that transforms you. One keeps you dependent on a place. The other introduces you to people, systems, and alignments you could never access before. Anointed one, Zarephath did not look like provision. It looked like lack. It looked like risk. It looked like irresponsibility. But God had already spoken. I have provided a widow, not a wealthy sponsor, not a powerful institution, a widow, someone who also needed a miracle. And this is where fear loses its authority. Chosen one, God often connects your breakthrough to someone else's obedience, and He connects their breakthrough to yours. The miracle is not hoarded, it is shared. When heaven moves resources, it moves hearts first. And when fear tries to stop you, it is usually because your next step is not just about you. Anointed one, if you are standing at a dry brook today, do not curse it. Thank God for it, because it means you heard His voice before the famine took you out. It means you are being invited into a new alignment. It means heaven trusts you enough to move you. Chosen one, this is not the end of provision. This is the beginning of multiplication. And in the next part, I will show you why God often chooses the most unlikely vessels to unlock supernatural supply, and why your fear is not a disqualification, but a sign that heaven is already involved. Chosen one. There are moments when heaven orchestrates encounters that make no sense to the natural mind. Elijah expected abundance, yet God sent him to a woman who barely had enough strength to face another sunrise. Anointed one, this is where divine mathematics defies human logic. God does not pair strength with strength. He pairs need with need, so both lives can be rewritten at the same time. Chosen one, think about this. The widow had nothing but a handful of flour and a small measure of oil. She was preparing her final meal, convinced her story was closing, yet in the very same moment, Elijah arrived, exhausted, hungry, and confused about why God would send him to someone so unable to help. Heaven was setting the stage for a dual miracle. Two people at the end of themselves, meeting at the beginning of God's supply. Anointed one, I have lived this exact tension. Times when I prayed for rescue, and instead God sent me responsibility. Times when I asked for help, and instead God sent me to help someone else. It was in those moments I learned heaven does not waste weakness. Heaven uses weakness as an entrance point for miracles. And when both you and the one assigned to you are desperate enough, obedience becomes the doorway to supernatural provision. Chosen one. Elijah spoke 3 simple words that shifted the atmosphere over that home. Do not be afraid. Not because circumstances improved, not because resources increased, not because danger disappeared, but because fear is always the first enemy heaven confronts before breakthrough arrives. Fear does not need proof to operate. Fear thrives in imagination, and that is why fear must be addressed before faith can rise. Anointed one. The widow didn't attend conferences. She had no teaching on generosity. She had no testimonies to lean on. She simply had a choice: obey or retreat. And with trembling hands, she obeyed. Her obedience was not bold. It was barely enough. But heaven does not measure the volume of your faith. Heaven measures the direction of it. And the moment she moved her faith toward God, the impossible began. Chosen one, listen carefully. The miracle did not start when Elijah prayed. The miracle started when she acted. Provision followed movement. Oil responded to obedience. Flour responded to surrender. And heaven responded to a woman who had every reason to say no, but whispered yes instead. Anointed one, I want you to see the prophetic picture hidden here. The place of your greatest fear often becomes the place of your greatest multiplication. The area you feel most unprepared for is often the exact area God intends to overflow. You are not standing at the end. You are standing at the edge. Chosen one, in my own life, I've watched God multiply in places that looked hopeless. I've seen seasons where I should have run out but didn't. Times when the numbers didn't add up, but miracles did. Looking back, it wasn't my strength that carried me. It was obedience. Quiet, trembling obedience. The kind you only choose when you're too tired to pretend and too desperate to delay. Anointed one, heaven is whispering something similar over you now. The fear you're feeling is not evidence of failure. It is proof you are standing on prophetic ground. When God says move, He has already prepared what you cannot yet see. And in the next part, we'll step deeper into why some miracles are activated only when you decide to trust beyond logic and step into the unknown with heaven at your side. Chosen one. There comes a point in every divine journey where God asks you to release what feels small so He can reveal what has been hidden. Anointed one, the widow's offering looked insignificant to the world, but heaven measured it as seed, and every seed that is surrendered becomes a doorway into supernatural increase. Chosen one, hear this. Heaven did not multiply what she imagined. Heaven multiplied what she entrusted. She did not promise a future offering. She presented what she had. She didn't wait for abundance to obey. She obeyed with lack. And that obedience rewrote her tomorrow. Anointed one, this is where many people miss the miracle. They wait for stability before stepping into surrender. They wait for clarity before choosing obedience. But clarity is not the foundation of faith. Trust is. God does not begin multiplying when the jar is full. He begins multiplying when your heart is willing. Chosen one, I've stood where she stood. I've watched God ask for something small while I was praying for something big. I felt the fear that comes when obedience feels costly. I've wondered why heaven would request the little I had left. And every time I discovered the same truth. God never takes to reduce you. He receives so He can release. Anointed one, the widow's act did more than rescue her household. It aligned her with divine momentum. The famine continued around her, but it did not consume her. Lack dominated the land, but supernatural supply dominated her home. This is the difference between depending on earthly systems and depending on kingdom provision. Earthly supply runs out. Heavenly supply replenishes. Chosen one, the moment she opened her hand, heaven opened its storehouse, and the promise was simple and profound. The jar will not run empty. Not immediately overflow, not sudden riches, not instant luxury, but sustained supernatural provision that defies circumstances and protects destiny. Anointed one, maybe your miracle will look like overflow. Maybe it will look like steady supply. But both are miracles. Both are signs that heaven is with you, and both require the same doorway: trust. Chosen one, let this settle into your spirit. God does not ask for obedience to test your value. He asks for obedience to reveal His. He is not trying to see how much you will sacrifice. He is trying to show you how deeply He can sustain you. Anointed one, in the next part we will step into the deeper truth that God uses the most unlikely moments, the most unlikely people, and the most unlikely transitions to prepare you for supernatural alignment and the unfolding of your divine assignment. Chosen one. There comes a point on this path where the miracle is already written, already breathing in the unseen, yet the days feel unchanged. Anointed one, this is where many lose heart, not because God has failed them, but because waiting feels heavier than warfare. When the promise is alive but still unfolding, your spirit stands between what is coming and what has not yet arrived. And that stretch can feel like a quiet ache under the ribs. Chosen one, heaven does not rush this place. This is the sacred tension where faith matures. You are not being tested for punishment, you are being shaped for capacity. Every day that feels ordinary is molding you into the kind of vessel who can hold what God is preparing. And even when nothing seems to move, something deep within you is being strengthened in ways you will only understand later. Anointed one, I know this terrain well. I have walked through seasons where I carried a word from God that felt too heavy to drop, but too distant to celebrate. I showed up to the same rooms, prayed the same prayers, did the same work, and wondered why my spirit could feel the promise so clearly while my life looked unchanged. It took time to realize that waiting has a sound. It is the sound of roots growing in the dark, far below the surface where no one claps and nothing applauds. Chosen one, you are not failing because you are tired. Weariness is not unbelief. It is simply the weight of carrying something sacred for longer than you expected. Heaven does not shame your fatigue. Heaven honors it. The very fact that you are still standing, still hoping, still returning to the place where God last spoke to you, this is the evidence of a faith that hell cannot shake. Anointed one, notice how God often works quietly in this phase. Not with loud interventions or dramatic signs, but through the steady rhythm of endurance. Some mornings you rise without feeling anything prophetic. Some evenings your prayers sound mechanical. And yet, heaven records every moment, every whisper, every exhale, every choice to believe when belief feels thin. This is the soil where long-lasting miracles take root. Chosen one, do not mistake silence for absence. Every great move of God has a long, unseen beginning. Noah built in silence. Joseph waited in silence. David hid in silence. And Elijah, the same man who saw fire fall from heaven, endured months at a brook with nothing but ravens and routine to sustain him. These were not wasted days. These were strengthening days, days that built the inner frame for future glory. Anointed one, I have found that the holiest growth often looks like repetition, showing up when your emotions do not, staying faithful when excitement fades, returning to what God said even when your surroundings disagree. It is in these daily decisions, small, hidden, uncelebrated, that heaven finds a heart ready for inheritance. Chosen one, endurance is not loud, it is not dramatic. It does not always feel spiritual. Sometimes it feels like washing dishes when you'd rather sleep. Sometimes it feels like showing kindness when your patience is thin. Sometimes it feels like trusting God with your finances when fear whispers that you should tighten your grip. These moments are not distractions from your calling, they are the shaping of it. Anointed one, there is a power that forms inside you when you refuse to quit. A quiet authority, a spiritual weight, a settledness that cannot be intimidated by delays or shaken by setbacks. You are learning to walk with God not only through miracles, but through mornings that feel uneventful and evenings that feel unfinished. This is the maturity that qualifies you for supernatural increase. Chosen one, let me speak gently here. I have discovered that faith is often steadied not by dramatic revelations, but by simple reminders, small anchors the heart can return to when the waiting feels long. And one such quiet reminder has been placed below in the description, prepared for whenever your spirit needs it. Anointed one, now let the prophetic breath rise again. Heaven has not forgotten you. The promise has not expired. Delay is not denial. It is development. You are being carved into someone who can steward abundance without being harmed by it, carry influence without losing humility, and hold blessing without letting it slip through your fingers. Chosen one, the financial fear you have battled is not a sign of spiritual weakness. It is the pressure point where God is strengthening your foundation. Provision is coming, but not the kind that merely relieves tension. God is preparing the kind that redefines your life, the kind that steadies your steps, the kind that enables you to walk freely into assignments you once felt unprepared to face. Anointed one, waiting is not punishment. Waiting is alignment. Your spirit is being synchronized with what heaven already released. The timing you are living through is not slow, it is intentional. God is not late, He is precise. And every day of waiting becomes part of the structure that will hold the blessing once it arrives. Chosen one, you are not standing still. You are being refined. Every prayer you thought went unnoticed became a brick in the foundation of your next season. Every tear you tried to hide became water for the seed of your future. Every moment you held on when giving up felt easier became evidence that you are not who you once were. You are becoming someone heaven trusts with more. Anointed one, endurance is not glamorous, but it is powerful. And it is in this quiet, uncelebrated chapter that God prepares you for sudden shifts. Breakthrough often comes softly after long seasons of faithfulness. Suddenly is always built on slowly, and you are closer to your suddenly than you realize. Chosen one, stand in this moment with the full weight of your testimony behind you. You have survived too much, learned too much, grown too much to question now. Heaven has carried you through valleys that were meant to bury you. God has sustained you in places where others expected you to break. This waiting is not empty. It is pregnant with purpose. It is shaping a future that will make sense of every tear you ever sowed. Anointed one, the promise is already unfolding. The fulfillment is already stirring, and you are already being positioned for the next revelation that heaven is preparing to release. Chosen one, there are seasons when heaven begins to move around you, long before anything moves for you, and this is where the Spirit must learn to see beyond evidence. Anointed one, when God is preparing a supernatural transfer, the shift is felt before it is seen. It comes as a restlessness you cannot explain, a stirring that interrupts your usual rhythms, a quiet awareness that something in the unseen is changing shape. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit recognizes the sound of transition. Chosen one, you are not imagining this. Heaven is tightening the lines around your future. God often moves the edges before he moves the center. He disrupts old patterns, closes familiar paths, and withdraws certain comforts, not to weaken you, but to free your hands for what is coming. When something you relied on begins to loosen, it is because heaven is reclaiming that space for something greater. Anointed one, I know this sensation intimately. I remember seasons where everything in my life continued as usual on the outside, but internally, something felt like a shifting tide. My prayers took on new depth. My routines felt too small for the person I was becoming. Doors that once fit me felt too tight. Opportunities I used to chase no longer stirred anything in me. I learned later that this feeling was not confusion, it was calibration. Heaven was adjusting my inner compass before revealing the next assignment. Chosen one, this recalibration is sacred. This is when God refines the desires of your heart, separating what was emotional from what is eternal. He starts removing attachments that can't survive in your next season. People drift, plans dissolve, old motivations lose their grip. And though part of you tries to hold on, another part knows these shifts are not loss, they are preparation. Anointed one, let me speak into your financial fears with authority. When God prepares a wealth shift, he does not begin with money, he begins with identity. He begins with courage, he begins with capacity. Heaven never pours overflow into a fractured foundation. Before God expands your provision, he expands your frame. Before he opens doors, he strengthens your steps. What feels like delay is actually reinforcement. Chosen one, you may be in a season where God is teaching you how to move without panic, how to trust without evidence, how to breathe through pressure. This is not punishment, this is training for stewardship. Abundance for those who are not prepared becomes destruction, but for those who have endured the refining, abundance becomes ministry, impact, and generational change. Anointed one, I learned this in my own journey. There were seasons when I begged God to increase my resources. Instead, he increased my faith. I asked for more money. He gave me more wisdom. I asked for overflow. He gave me discipline. Only later did I realize that these inner gifts were the true containers for the blessing I desired. Had the provision come earlier, I would have wasted it, mismanaged it, or feared it. Heaven withheld what I wanted to strengthen who I needed to become. Chosen one, do not overlook the miracles happening inside you while you wait. The calm that did not used to exist, the clarity you could not access before, the resilience that has quietly grown in the background of your hardest days. These things are not small. They are the scaffolding of your next season. Anointed one, when heaven prepares you for supernatural provision, it does something remarkable. It turns your fear into discernment. It turns your hesitation into wisdom. It turns your past wounds into spiritual authority. You begin to move differently, not recklessly, not anxiously, but intentionally. That shift in posture is a sign that you are approaching prophetic fulfillment. Chosen one, in the next part, you will understand why heaven often waits until you are aligned internally before releasing external blessing, and why this alignment is the gateway into supernatural acceleration. Chosen one. When heaven is preparing to release something weighty into your life, the alignment begins inside long before the blessing arrives outside. Anointed one, spiritual acceleration does not happen randomly. It happens when your inner world matches the assignment God is sending. And this part of the journey is less about what you do and more about who you are becoming. Chosen one, you may be noticing that old fears no longer hold you the way they used to. The same thoughts that once paralyzed you now pass through like shadows instead of storms. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual maturation. God is teaching your soul how to breathe again, how to stand again, how to trust again. And when the heart begins to trust, heaven begins to move. Anointed one, acceleration often begins subtly. You wake up with a clarity you didn't have the night before. A decision that once felt overwhelming suddenly feels simple. A worry you carried for months loses its weight in a single moment of revelation. This is how heaven turns battles into breakthroughs, not with explosions, but with alignment. Chosen one, let me speak from experience. There were seasons when I felt stuck, but something deep within me insisted that I was not stagnant. I was being readied. I thought God had paused my life. In reality, He was tuning it, adjusting my posture, softening my heart, sharpening my discernment, removing the noise that kept me from hearing Him clearly. And when the inner tension finally snapped into peace, things around me began shifting so quickly, it felt like stepping into another dimension. Anointed one, this is the mystery of divine timing. When heaven waits, it is not withholding, it is perfecting. Scripture describes this principle repeatedly, only written as what we often call the appointed time. In my own words, it is the moment when heaven declares, now. Not because you deserved it more, not because you suddenly became worthy, but because the internal ground has finally settled enough to sustain the blessing. Chosen one, pay attention to the subtle signs of shift. Doors you once forced begin to open quietly. Conversations align without planning. Opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. People who drained you fade into the background, while those who strengthen your spirit begin appearing without effort. This is what supernatural alignment looks like, your life cooperating with heaven's blueprint. Anointed one, this is also the season when financial fear begins to lose its authority. Not because you have more money yet, but because you have more perspective. The anxiety that once controlled your decisions no longer dictates your future. You begin to understand that provision is not random. It is rhythmic, it is intentional, it is guided, and you are no longer fighting for survival, you are preparing for stewardship. Chosen one, wealth transfer is never merely material. Heaven first transfers wisdom, clarity, and discernment. It transfers peace. It transfers strategy. It transfers internal strength. Only then does it transfer resources. When these things converge, what looks like sudden breakthrough is actually the visible expression of a process heaven began long ago. Anointed one, you may also notice that your spirit is quieter now. Not passive, quiet. Settled, steady, more observant, less reactive. This is the posture of someone rising into their next dimension. This is how God prepares leaders. This is how heaven shapes carriers of supernatural provision. Chosen one, this alignment is not fragile, it is forged. You earned it in the dark. You built it through tears. You strengthened it through nights where you could not sleep and days where you showed up anyway. Heaven saw every moment. Nothing was wasted. And now the ground beneath you has become firm enough for God to place something weighty upon it. Anointed one, in the next part, you will step into the revelation of overflow, why God releases it, how heaven selects its carriers, and why your journey through fear has positioned you for supernatural abundance. Chosen one. There is a moment in every divine journey when heaven shifts from sustaining you to increasing you. Anointed one, you have endured the season of just enough, the season where God kept you alive in places that could not carry you any further. But now, the atmosphere around you is changing. You may not see the full manifestation yet, but your spirit feels the nearness of overflow. Chosen one, overflow is not an accident. It is not random favor or sudden luck. It is the deliberate response of heaven to a heart that has been refined through pressure, purified through waiting, and strengthened through surrender. God does not place abundance in unstable hands. He places it in those who have learned to trust Him when nothing made sense. Anointed one, I have walked through seasons where God sustained me with daily bread. There were months where survival was the miracle. But when heaven began shifting me toward overflow, it did not begin with money. It began with perspective. Suddenly I saw opportunities where before I saw obstacles. I sensed timing where before I felt confusion. I felt boldness rising in places where fear once lived rent-free. Overflow begins within long before it arrives without. Chosen one, heaven releases abundance not to inflate identity, but to empower assignment. The widow did not receive overflow because she was lucky. She received it because she stepped into divine alignment. She trusted a word that felt unreasonable. She acted when logic told her to retreat. She released what she could have hoarded, and heaven honored her posture. Anointed one, this is the pattern. God multiplies what is surrendered. He expands what is yielded. He breathes on what is placed back into His hands. Overflow is not about the quantity of what you give. It is about the courage to give it. It is about trusting God's character more than your own calculations. It is about recognizing that heaven has resources beyond anything this world can measure. Chosen one, many misunderstand overflow. They imagine wealth without responsibility, increase without transformation. But true overflow is a mantle. It carries weight. It carries assignment. It carries impact. When God entrusts you with more, it is because He intends to reach others through you. Abundance is not just God blessing you, it is God blessing through you. Anointed one, this is why the journey has been long. This is why the refining has been deep. Heaven has shaped your compassion, your discernment, your endurance. Because abundance without character becomes corruption. But abundance entrusted to a healed heart becomes ministry. Chosen one, feel the truth of this. The struggle you survived did not disqualify you. It prepared you. The tears you shed were not wasted. They watered the ground of your future. The nights you thought God was silent were actually nights He was sculpting you. And now the inner structure is strong enough for what heaven has been preparing. Anointed one, you are entering a season where supernatural provision will meet supernatural purpose, where what you carry will serve more than just your household, where your story becomes a guide for others who are still walking through fear, where your overflow pours into places that were once barren. This is the season where God moves you from survival to influence, from limitation to impact, from waiting to walking. Chosen one, in the final part, you will step into the revelation of what it means to live inside supernatural momentum, why heaven accelerates those who endured the refining, and how your entire life becomes a testimony to the faithfulness of God. Chosen one, there comes a sacred moment when all the slow, unseen work of heaven suddenly gathers into motion. Anointed one, this is supernatural momentum, the point where your past obedience meets God's present timing, and your life begins moving with a force that is no longer your own. You have felt pieces of this, glimpses of acceleration, whispers of something shifting. Now the fullness of it is drawing near. Chosen one, momentum in the kingdom is not random. It arrives when heaven knows you are ready to carry what you once feared. It arrives when your identity is no longer built on survival, but on trust. It arrives when the weight that used to break you now bows beneath you. This is the kind of momentum that does not just bless you, It rewrites the atmosphere around you. Anointed One, supernatural momentum is different from human effort. Human effort drains you. Heaven's momentum carries you. Human ambition burns you out. Heaven's momentum renews you as you move. You begin to see doors open without force. Conversations align without striving. Resources appear without panic. People arrive who speak to your future, not your past. You move with God instead of chasing what you lost. Chosen One, I have lived this. There were seasons where I knocked on doors until my knuckles bled, doors that never opened. I prayed for opportunities that never came. I blamed myself for delay, thinking I lacked faith or strategy. But later I learned something holy. Momentum does not come from striving. Momentum comes from alignment. When my heart finally rested, heaven moved. Anointed One, this is what is forming in you now. The years of refinement, the stretching, the patience, the surrender, they have built spiritual velocity. And when God releases you forward, the movement will be swift, but you will not feel rushed. You will feel carried. You will feel guided. You will feel held by something greater than your own strength. This is how heaven escorts its chosen ones into new seasons. Chosen One, supernatural momentum does not erase your history, it redeems it. The wounds become wisdom, the delays become depth, the losses become leverage. Everything the enemy tried to use to break you becomes the very material heaven uses to build your next season. Momentum takes your past and folds it into your purpose. Anointed One, this is also the place where fear loses all remaining power, not because you never feel afraid again, but because fear is no longer the voice that directs your steps. Momentum replaces fear's authority. Faith becomes instinct. Discernment becomes natural. Peace becomes your default setting. You stop returning to old ways of thinking because your spirit has outgrown those rooms. Chosen One, hear this with your whole heart. Heaven is not slow. Heaven is strategic. Momentum comes when the assignment requires more than human strength, when the impact of your next season will touch lives beyond your own. When what God placed inside you is no longer allowed to remain small. You were never meant to stay by the brook. You were never meant to fear lack forever. You were never meant to question whether God would come through for you. Your entire life has been training for this moment. Anointed One, as momentum begins, something else happens. Your voice becomes clearer. Your decisions become sharper. Your spirit becomes steadier. The noise that once overwhelmed you can no longer sway you. You begin walking in a confidence that feels unfamiliar at first. Not arrogance, but certainty. The certainty of someone who knows God did not carry them this far just to abandon them now. Chosen One, this is your crossing. This is your stepping forward. This is your emergence into the life heaven whispered over you long before you saw evidence of it. And everything you endured, every battle, every fear, every waiting season, becomes part of the testimony that will strengthen others as they step into their own journey. Anointed One, the momentum has already begun. You are not stepping into blessing alone. You are stepping into alignment, assignment, and acceleration. Heaven is moving with you, and nothing in your past has the authority to slow what God has set in motion. This is where the story turns. This is where your spirit rises. This is where the promise becomes your reality. Chosen One. As we close this moment, let your spirit recognize what heaven has already begun. You are not standing at the end of anything. You are standing at the opening of a divine appointment, a kairos moment crafted with your name upon it. Anointed One, the same God who met the widow in her emptiness and Elijah in his exhaustion, is meeting you now. What once felt fragile is being strengthened. What once felt delayed is being accelerated. What once felt uncertain is being rewritten under the weight of divine provision. Chosen one, may your faith rise with fresh clarity. May your steps be steady. May your heart remain open to the quiet directions of the Holy Spirit. A supernatural transfer is already in motion over your life, and heaven is preparing you to walk in a season marked by discernment, sufficiency, and overflowing grace. You are stepping into a future where trust becomes testimony and fear becomes authority. If this word touched you, you are welcome to share your heart in the comments or remain connected for what heaven releases next. And when your spirit needs something simple and steady, a quiet reminder has been placed below for you in the description or the pinned comment. Chosen one, may peace cover you, may provision follow you, and may God's favor surround you as you walk into your next appointed season.